Marriage is a unique moment, full of emotion and celebration, but not everything always goes as planned. Some ceremonies end up marked by unusual situations, unbelievable mishaps, and even drama that no one expected. And that is exactly what you are going to see here today. So go ahead and leave your like, click below on the subscribe button, and let's go. At a wedding held in Sao Paulo, in Brazil, a joke from the bride almost turned the big day into a huge fiasco. At the moment when the judge asked the official question, expecting a serious answer, she decided to joke and said no, bursting into laughter. Right after, she tried to fix it and said yes, but the judge did not accept the correction and canceled the ceremony on the spot. The incident happened in the Campo Limpo neighborhood, in the southern area of the city of Sao Paulo, in Brazil, and it was captured on video. The one who released the footage was the groom himself, named Vanildo Vieira, who shared the moment on social media. The video went viral quickly, surpassing 5 million views in just a few days. While some people laughed at the situation, others questioned whether the judge was right to suspend the wedding over a joke. What many did not know is that this decision is provided for by law. According to the civil code, if one of the spouses denies the marriage, even if just as a joke, the judge is obligated to stop the ceremony immediately because the affirmation of intent must be made in a serious and clear manner. Despite the shock and the confusion, the couple managed to formalize their union a few hours later, but not before insisting quite a bit to convince the judge to resume the ceremony. Today, they remain together and already have a 2-year-old daughter. The case continued to resonate on the internet and reignited debates about the rigidity of marital rules. For some, the judge went too far by canceling the ceremony, while others pointed out that marriage is a serious act and that this kind of joke can indeed create problems. In the end, this story became a big lesson for anyone thinking about making a joke at the altar. Not every wedding is marked only by emotion. Some go down in history for how unexpectedly they unfold. And that is exactly what happened when Andrew Engstrom tried to repeat his vows during the ceremony and ended up turning the moment into a real collective laughing fit. It all started when he got confused while placing the ring on the bride, but the worst was yet to come. When the pastor asked him to repeat the words and accept Melissa Renee Warren as his lawful wedded wife, Andrew slipped up big time and, without meaning to, said something that sounded like waffle wife. Trying to cover up the mistake, he even blurted out pancakes, and that was enough to completely derail the ceremony. Melissa could not hold back her laughter. In fact, she laughed so hard that she almost lost her breath, stomping her feet and doubling over as she tried to pull herself together. But she just could not. The guests started laughing along, and even the pastor joined in on the joke, saying it would be better to take a break because the ceremony was starting to look like a hidden camera prank show. The video of this moment became an internet classic, providing good laughs to this day. After all, making a mistake during the vows can be problematic, but turning it into an unforgettable moment is for very few. URL ignored. Weddings often feature moving moments, but this one stood out for an unexpected detail that turned the ceremony into an unforgettable scene. Everything was going as expected, until, at the moment of communion, a small mishap caught the bride by surprise and made everyone who was watching burst out laughing. She received the wine chalice from the priest, and as she tilted it to drink, something unexpected happened. Her front teeth, which were a dental prosthesis, simply fell right into the wine.
Her front teeth.
At that very moment, she realized what had happened and was completely at a loss for what to do. The situation became even more embarrassing when she, not knowing what else to do, opened a nervous smile and ended up showing she was now missing her front teeth. Trying to hide it, she covered her mouth with her hand and discreetly attempted to fish the prosthesis out of the chalice, but it was already too late. Even though she was visibly uncomfortable, she managed to get her teeth back and tried to carry on naturally. But the unusual scene was not over yet. The priest, without stopping the ceremony, handed the chalice to the groom, who calmly drank the wine as if nothing had happened. The video of that moment went viral on the internet and left many people in disbelief. While some commented on the bride's embarrassment, others praised the way the groom handled the situation, never hesitating. In the end, that wedding was marked not only by the exchange of vows, but by a moment that nobody there is going to forget anytime soon. The bachelorette party of Emma Ayala in Mexico ended in a way that no one expected. In a resort in Playa del Carmen, she was caught on video kissing another man, and that footage ended up on the internet. problem? The wedding was already set, and her fiancé, Pablo Torres Gandara, was not pleased at all with what he saw. The images show Emma wearing a white swimsuit in a passionate kiss with a guy she had supposedly met that same day. The video was recorded by a friend of the bride herself and soon spread across social media under the hashtag #Lady Coralina, a reference to the name of the bar where it all happened. The buzz was so huge that the fiancé and his family found out right away. After that, there was no going back. The wedding was canceled, and the internet did not waste time commenting on the betrayal. While some defended Emma, many harshly criticized her behavior. Both of their names went viral on social media, and even a Facebook page was created to gather pictures and news about the case. In the end, what was supposed to be a celebration turned into a massive scandal, and Emma became known as the bride who lost everything because of a bachelorette party. Making a surprise for the groom on the wedding day has already become a tradition, but this bride went further and decided to sing to him, right there, in front of all the guests.
Sinto tão amada, isso faz bem ao coração da gente quando tem alguém pra dividir.
The problem is that her voice did not cooperate, and what was supposed to be a touching moment ended up being a real challenge. A mix of nerves and emotion got in the way, and the bride started to sing out of tune quite a bit. At times, it was hard not to laugh, both for her and for those watching. But, determined to complete her tribute, she pushed on until the end of her performance. Despite the shaky melody, the groom seemed genuinely moved by the gesture and could not hold back his emotions. He was visibly touched, proving that the effort mattered more than the performance itself. In the end, maybe her voice was not perfect, but the intention was there. Singing for someone in front of so many people is not for just anyone, especially at such an important moment. She definitely had courage, and the wedding was remembered forever, whether for the romance or the off-key notes. An unbelievable scene took over a wedding in China and quickly went viral on the internet. Everything seemed to be going normally until, at the much-anticipated moment of the kiss, the ceremony was interrupted in the most unexpected way. The groom's ex-girlfriend suddenly walked in, shouting that it was all a mistake and that it was her fault, but it did not stop there. What left everyone even more shocked was that she showed up dressed as a bride, as if it were her own wedding. Without hesitation, she ran to the altar, grabbed the groom by his suit jacket, and started begging him to call off the ceremony. While he tried to get away from the situation, the bride stood there, speechless. For a moment, it looked like she would keep her composure, but the tension became unbearable. Seeing the ex on her knees, crying and begging for another chance, the bride made her decision. Without a word, she turned around and left, leaving the groom and the ex behind, completely at a loss. The video of that moment spread like wildfire, and reactions were intense. Some thought the scene was right out of a soap opera, while others slammed the ex for trying to ruin the wedding in such a dramatic way. Many also wondered what the groom did after the bride walked away, but no one knows that part of the story. What is certain is that this chaos made it onto the list of the most disastrous weddings online. The wedding day of Holly Calenda and Jackson Darnell started out like a real fairy tale in Florida. The sun was shining, the guests were excited, and the couple looked radiant. Jackson was completely overwhelmed when he saw his bride in her white dress for the first time. Everything was perfect, until it was time for the I do. In the middle of the ceremony, Holly began to feel unwell. She felt dizzy, swayed, and before anyone could react, she fainted right there at the altar. Luckily, Jackson was able to catch her before she hit the ground, preventing a worse fall. But the real trouble was yet to come. As soon as she came to, Holly did not even have time to figure out what had happened before she threw up, right next to the gazebo. If that was not enough to turn the ceremony into a disaster, things got even more embarrassing immediately afterward. The bride's nephew, a baby, was in someone's arms when he ended up pooping, right on her dress. That was enough for the couple to realize this wedding would not go the way they had planned. Even so, they took it all with a sense of humor and are already planning a new ceremony, hopefully without so many mishaps. But one thing is for sure, this wedding went viral and entered the list of the most disastrous on the internet. Not every ceremony goes as expected, and this one turned into quite a scene. Everything seemed calm until a voice cut through the silence and caught everyone's attention. The bride's mother-in-law, clearly outraged, interrupted the wedding and started yelling, leaving the guests uncomfortable and stunned.
I'm a video. Try it, and I'll have you arrested.
Well, I'm in church.
Tony, get her out of here. This is not right.
This is not.
Without caring that this was a special moment, she declared that she did not approve of that union and began firing off accusations. In the middle of the uproar, she said she had paid for the bride's dress and would not allow that wedding to happen. Tension filled the air instantly, and the bride, visibly annoyed, did not let it slide and fired back. The two began arguing right there at the altar, while the groom tried to ease the tension. The guests exchanged glances, not knowing what to do. Some tried to intervene to calm things down, but the mother-in-law refused to leave and kept up the fight. The atmosphere got more and more strained, and the ceremony, which should have been an emotional moment, turned into a soap opera-worthy scene. In the end, what was supposed to be one of the couple's happiest days ended up being remembered for a scandal that went viral on the internet. The video spread across social media and sparked plenty of comments on the mother-in-law's behavior. Will the relationship between them recover after that scene? No one knows, but one thing is certain: that ceremony was forever marked. What was meant to be a wedding party turned into an unbelievable scandal. A groom in China decided to expose the bride's infidelity on the very day of the ceremony, shocking all the guests. The celebration was going smoothly in Fujian province until suddenly a big screen was switched on and a video started to play. In the footage, the bride appeared having an affair with none other than her own brother-in-law. While the guests tried to make sense of it, the groom looked at his wife and asked if she thought he did not know. Tension filled the place, and the families of both sides jumped in to prevent the situation from getting worse. The couple had been together for 2 years and got engaged 6 months earlier, but apparently the groom had already been suspicious of something and took advantage of the wedding day to reveal everything. The video quickly went viral online and sparked a huge debate. One influential Chinese blogger claimed the bride had cheated after being assaulted by the groom. According to that version, the brother-in-law got close to mediate the couple's issues, and over time, the two developed feelings for each other. Whatever the reasons, what was supposed to be a night of celebration became a scandal that went far beyond the party. The wedding was canceled on the spot, and the footage continues circulating on social media, leaving everyone in disbelief at how things turned out. Some unexpected situations can ruin a wedding, but this groom showed that nothing would spoil their big day. In a video that went viral on social media, the waiters ended up dropping the wedding cake, creating a scene that had all the makings of a real disaster. Right in the middle of the hall, the cake toppled onto the floor, and the bride's reaction said it all. She was frozen, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Silence took over for a few seconds, and the guests were all stunned, waiting to see what would happen. But before the tension got worse, the groom decided to solve the situation in the best way possible. Without a second thought, he grabbed a fork, knelt down, and started eating the cake right there, as if nothing had happened. That unexpected move made the guests burst into laughter, and they began applauding the groom's carefree reaction. To top it off, he even invited everyone to join him, turning what could have been a colossal failure into a unique moment. Little by little, even the bride joined in on the fun, shifting from despair to relief. In the end, a situation that could have ruined the party turned into a source of laughter, providing great memories for the couple and their guests. The video spread across social media and drew a flurry of comments. Many people praised how lighthearted and relaxed the groom was, proving that, ultimately, what really matters is celebrating the moment, no matter the setbacks. After all, keeping a good sense of humor makes all the difference. Not everyone can hold back their emotions when saying wedding vows, but this bride took the joke a bit too far. In the middle of the ceremony, while making her promise of fidelity, she blurted out, "May God help me," and burst into uncontrollable laughter.
Deus me ajude.
That ill-timed joke made the moment completely awkward. The joking tone quickly sparked reactions online, with many people wondering whether it was just nerves or if she truly did not take the vow seriously. The video went viral, and the comments poured in. Some found it funny, while others said it was the wrong time for that kind of joke. What should have been a serious pledge ended up seeming like a tasteless prank, and the clip of that moment keeps making the rounds online, fueling debate. What was meant to be a romantic dance at the wedding turned into a truly unexpected show. The bride began her performance elegantly, but soon surprised everyone by removing the long skirt of her dress, revealing a much shorter, more daring version. With provocative moves, she danced as though she did not mind all the eyes on her, but the surprise did not end there. Shortly after, the groom joined in on the fun, got up, and did the same, turning the dance into a completely outrageous show. It felt like the two forgot entirely that they were surrounded by guests and dove into the moment as if they were alone. The video of that wedding went viral fast, filling the internet with comments on the scene. While some people thought it was entertaining, others said the dance crossed a line for an event with so many people watching. Some people simply cannot detach from their phones, and this bride took that addiction to an unbelievable level. Right in the middle of the ceremony, standing at the altar, she simply pulled her phone from her cleavage and started using it as though nothing was happening.
That as the foundation of the home, the generation of children under perfect social order, and so it must remain until the end.
While the guests watched the moment, she seemed distracted, focused on the phone's screen. After a while, she put the phone away again, but what really caught everyone's attention was the groom's expression, who looked completely disappointed by her behavior. The video went viral and prompted countless comments. Some viewers found it amusing, while others criticized the bride for appearing more interested in her phone than in her own wedding. Whatever the case, it was one of those moments no one ever expects to see at a ceremony. During the wedding ceremony, the priest decided to wrap up his homily by saying he had already talked too much. But no one expected the honest reaction from a child who, without a second thought, agreed out loud, making everyone there burst into laughter.
Eu acho que já falei demais.
Já mesmo.
Mas a nova...
The response was so spontaneous that the entire room roared with laughter. The guests, the couple, and even the priest could not contain themselves. A lighthearted mood took over the ceremony, and the moment got even better when the priest joined in the joke and said he would wait until the child grew up so that at his wedding, the priest could give a huge homily to get payback for the boy's candid remark. The video spread rapidly online, and comments came pouring in. Many people were delighted by the child's natural reaction, pointing out how kids always provide the most unexpected moments. Others praised the priest for the relaxed way he handled the situation, making the ceremony even more special. When all is said and done, that wedding gained a special touch and a fun story that will be remembered for years. After all, surprises like this are what make these moments so unforgettable. A wedding held at the Church of Our Lady of Victory in Salvador, in Brazil, generated controversy and protests for an unexpected reason. During the ceremony, several guests, including the couple themselves, were not wearing masks, disregarding the pandemic prevention guidelines. The video of the moment quickly went viral, showing the couple leaving the church as local residents protested. Cries of "What a shame!" and "Go home!" echoed in the streets, making it clear people were upset about the lack of care in the midst of the pandemic. A photo taken inside the church also drew attention. Even though the space was not crowded, you could see that the people at the altar were very close to one another, ignoring the recommended distancing. According to the Municipal Department of Urban Development, celebrations were allowed, but with a limit of 50 people and mandatory mask use. Because the protocol was ignored, the parish was notified to reinforce the guidelines and prevent this from happening again. The case triggered debate online. Some felt the residents overreacted, while others supported the protest, arguing that rules exist to be followed. In the end, the wedding that should have been remembered for celebrating love ended up marked by controversy and negative backlash. Do not forget to subscribe for more videos like this.